where they can have a little bit more motion to their spine
exactly.
within comfort.
Exactly.
But it's about training them in their safe position first, in their neutral spine at that moment.
And particularly, again, I'm looking at talking about Boba, who sounds like she was a dancer and very physical and very active. That's different than many of my low back clients.
Right.
If I have a low back client who has been in a lot of pain for a long time, or basically has been sitting for the last 20 years anyway, and that may be some of where their back condition's coming from, is sitting for too much, not moving, and being deconditioned, I have to start with that real simplicity.
Yes.
We're going to keep your back in one position. We're going to strengthen your legs. We're going to strengthen your arms. We're going to work your core in a relatively neutral way. Let's say, kneeling abdominals on the reformer or plank work, that kind of thing. And slowly we will build up, but we've got to get the strength going in the body first before I can really, again, start to build that up to something greater, something more challenging, I guess. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do less.
Don't be afraid to do less.
Because I find that we get excited when a client starts making even the smallest progress that we want to make. Well, let's try this. And sometimes they're not ready for it.
Yeah.
And they may not be ready for it mentally. Their body may be, but they may not be.
Yeah.
Or their body's just not capable of that yet. Small steps forward. My thing is always forward, rarely back. So if you take,
that's what you're hoping for.
That's what you're hoping for. So if I can take small steps forward, I'm still making progress rather than 5 big steps forward to take 12 back, which we've all done before. Even in my own body, I've done it.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
more and more in my own body than my clients, because I'm way less patient with myself. Yeah, exactly. And one of the things too about that is, if I'm working with a low back client or client with any injury really, and I know that I know that there's an area they're sensitive in, like I'm starting to do extension, for example, with a client. And they've been pretty not moving much for a while. I will add one mild extension exercise. Usually the first one I start with is overhead press and swan/cobra on the long box. That seems to be the easiest for most of my low back clients can tolerate that when they begin. I will do 5. I will see, that's the only thing I'm going to add that whole session. I'll see how they do the next day, the day after that. Then if that worked, I might add it again. I'll still do 5. So this is like just patience, right? Slow it down, add one thing at a time that's in their challenge area. Right?
That is so key.
Yeah.
I even find myself sometimes forgetting about this. You want to add one thing at a time. It's scientific. Think of a scientific method. You don't add 12 things because then you don't know what worked, and you don't know what hurt them. If I had 2 things, one was really beneficial, but the other may have caused them pain. I don't know which is which. If you add one thing, you'll get feedback.
Yes.
Their body will tell you positive or negative.
Yep.
And if it tells you, oh no, that felt great, that was fine. Cool. All right. And I may try it for a couple of sessions in a row without adding the next thing, just to make sure that their body's accepting it.
Exactly.
And then take up one more thing.
Yeah. It's incremental. It's like turning that knob 1 click.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not turning it all the way.
And sometimes also when you have the client who really is so badly wants to get better, that they want to do more, or can I do this at home? And sometimes I say, no, not yet.
Yeah.
Chill on this. Wait, let's do it for 2 or 3 weeks or a month. And now I feel comfortable with the fact that you know how to do it well.
Right.
And it seems to be positive. So yeah, go ahead, do this, but no more than, give them parameters, no more than 3 times a week or whatever.
Yeah.
So those are some things just to think about.
Yeah. Another question. I have a client that has stenosis in L4-5, disc facet degeneration, but disc degeneration with small protrusion L5-S1. Which area to focus on, or always neutral is the best for her? This is totally classic. That's why I love this question, because this is completely classic, that many clients, especially over a certain age with low back issues, have multiple things going on, like we talked about with Boba.
Yep.
So here again, those diagnoses, they're data points, but they're not definitive, if that makes sense. They're information, good information. What can they do? Getting back to our previous thing, what can they do? What can they not do? Where are they trying to go? What are their goals? It may be that they prefer a neutral position. It may be that they prefer a flexed position.
Yeah.
They may prefer an extended position, depending on which of those issues is active at the moment or more problematic for them. And I don't know that till I start to work with them and figure it out.
Right. And some of it is when you have two different things, again, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know.
Uh-uh.
So you just ask them, what do you feel better doing?
Yeah.
Standing or sitting?
Yep.
If it's sitting, they probably like flexion. If it's standing, they probably like more extension. So you just focus on neutral toward flexion or extension, wherever they're comfortable. Because you have two different things here, you don't know which is angry right now.
Right. And it could switch. That's the other thing I've noticed, right?
Yeah.